Good morning. It's just before 5 a.m. and a little early. It's a Friday, but I wanted to get out here and do some fertilizing before the sun's up. We see the work the guys did yesterday. So that's the shape of the tunnel, the high tunnel from Rimmel. These two posts back here are set, but they're still working on getting adjustments. Due to the winds yesterday, the tape measure kept on kind of flowing in the wind a little. So getting the diagonals measured properly was not easy. So they went and got a laser tape or laser measure or whatever it's called. So they're going to be using that this morning while I go back to work. Yeah, hopefully we'll see some good progress this weekend. The guys have a good few days, solid days carved out for this with my dad visiting. I'll come over here. So a couple things. I'm going to be actually, another reason I want to do this early is I'm going to be harvesting some of the first ranunculus. So you can see, it's easier if I come down here. You can see all these stems coming up. They're roughly 18 to 20 inches. You can see here, this is at marshmallow stage here. This one is not. This one is not. The one back there might be close that I need to check as well. And this is kind of the problem is that I'm only gonna have ones or twos right now, but then probably by next week I'm gonna be harvesting almost daily. So this is another marshmallow stage. This is the salmon coloring here. It looks really yellow, so I'm interested to see how it opens. So I'm gonna harvest a couple of these before I spray. And so I'm gonna do that quickly now and get that fertilizer sitting for about 20 minutes, and then I'll be able to use it. So I'm gonna get to work before the sun's out too much, but good morning and happy Friday. These are really nice long stems. The yellow one's a little shorter, the salmon, but I'm very excited to see these open. So I will take another picture probably later this afternoon or tomorrow and share with you guys so you can see them fully open. They are just absolutely stunning. I always really loved ranunculus, and last year was my first year growing, and this year we're growing about 600. So you can definitely tell how much I love that. I was checking on the Boston Terminal. They're going for about $2 a stem for about a 20-inch, which these two tall ones, the rose and the pink, should probably be pretty close to that. This yellowish one, the salmon, I think it is definitely a little shorter, as you can tell on the stems here. So that's wholesale. So then you would multiply that by 3 if you do an arrangement in a vase. So these are not cheap flowers by any means. So pretty excited about that. And that's, again, that's Boston Terminal. A lot of those are actually flown in from out of state. So buying local fresh, you should actually expect, unless it's a really small operation, you should expect to pay a little bit more than the Boston Terminal multiplier if you're buying at a local florist shop and buying local flowers, because they will be fresher, they will last longer, and usually the colors are a little bit more vibrant as well. So it's been about 20 minutes or so since I created the fertilizer mixes. These are, the white one is the fish and seaweed. It's for the garlic and onions. It has the Neptune Harvest mostly, but it does have the Tanio Micro 5000, and it has the liquid humate as well in that one. And then the red one is the Fox Farm Big Bloom Organic. That also has the liquid humate and the micro 5000 in it. And that one I actually did put some neem in. You can mix neem in with your fertilizers also. This is because I do have a slight aphid issue in the tunnel. And I'm going to keep the tunnel closed for another few hours and spray basically where the dense leaf section is of where the ranunculus is in there. And I will show you guys that. Out here I can show you guys too. We had to put some birdhouses up for the house wrens. You can see they are very happy. That was because every year they try to build in our hose link, and so I have to put a piece of cardboard to cover over the hole. So note to hose link, if you're watching this video for some reason, please make a cover that you can actually zip up when you're not in use, so I don't have to use cardboard every spring. All right, so back in here, the ants farm aphids, and it's really actually very interesting. They will actually bring the eggs down into their ant hills in the late fall, and then pop them back up out here and put them onto flowers or plants that they want to have the aphids on. They think it would be a good host plant for them. So I spent time the other day coming in and actually just brushing off the aphids. Let's see if I can give you a good look here. I don't know if you guys can see that one. Go down here a little bit more. So there's one I missed. So I've just been coming in and brushing it off. I was going to try to buy bugs to release in here, but it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks, which is, by that time it would take over. So because I'm not letting much bloom in here right now, I'm comfortable with spraying only neem inside the tunnel, with the sides down and everything, and trying not to touch anything that has flowers. So for example, the violas in here and the bacopa, I'm going to move these out of the way so that they're nowhere near where the bees or pollinators would try to come, because there's nothing flowering here yet over on the side, so they're not going to be that much of an issue. So as you come in here, yeah, you can see some more started in here. That's what the aphids look like in here. We do not want that, because that will make the stems weaker, the plants weaker, and the blooms not as strong. Plus it's kind of just gross. So on top of all of that, so by spraying them with neem and brushing them off the top of the stems by the buds, I should probably be mostly under control. And then in a couple weeks, and I'll top water these ranunculus. We don't have irrigation, so after the next couple weeks, when I can actually get some lace wings, I think is what I'm going to order to release in here, they should be the neem should be pretty much dissipated at that point, and we can not have a concern. And because I'm not growing these for a pretty flower bed, I'm growing these for cuts, I'm harvesting all these ranunculus before they actually open. Over here we also have feverfew and snapdragons and another feverfew patch here. So that's something to look for. The alyssum is blooming over here, so what I'll do is actually I'll pull this alyssum out, because there's plenty of alyssum everywhere else, so that again I'm not attracting any pollinators to the greenery, right? Which is what I need to focus on. It's roughly 5:30 at this point, maybe 5:40 or so. You can see the sun is just making the ridge there. I am out here now on the Lizzies, and they do not look that great. Every year, well, not every year, but I guess like this year and last year, just have a hell of a time transplanting these guys. So you can see here, they just get burned every year. So I've got shade cloth that I'll be setting back up because it's going to be a little bit of a brighter day today. You can see I'm trialing with no fabric and with fabric. I'm really kind of nervous about the amount of weeds that I might get, but I planted pretty close together over in this other bed, so hopefully that'll be fine. The sunrise is gorgeous today. So I am putting the fish and seaweed fertilizer on, and pretty generously here. And then I'm going to put the shade cloth on, which will help soak it in a little bit longer. And I still need to go do the garlic and the onions over there. And I just did the crates of ranunculus that also don't look so great. The temp swings on those, I think, was what is really hurting them. So I have frost cloth in the shed that I interchange for any of the colder nights. Although now it's about 50 is the low temp, which is actually what they want. And 70's high. 80 is too hot for them, so that's why I have the shade cloth there to try to help. Also, it will help with extending the stems. I got this shade cloth. It's a 40% shade cloth. I got this at on Amazon, actually. Wasn't that bad priced, and they're about 16 feet long, I think. I gotta repump. So pretty happy with the quality considering. I didn't want a big roll because it's harder for me to manage sometimes when I have to run out and put something on really quickly. Well, that's better. So I'm gonna continue on this row and then get over to the onions and garlic. So I'm over here in our garlic. Some of the ends got a little frosted. We had 22 degrees, I think, down to after they were already pretty tall. But overall, these look pretty healthy. So again, this is just a foliar spray, so I'm just trying to spray this all over. Well, I'm just showing you guys what works for me, or what has worked for me in the past. Every year is different. I was talking to actually multiple different farmers this past week, and everyone's saying that there's something that goes wrong every year. And no matter what you're doing, every year you got to learn something new and adjust. And that's just part of gardening and growing, no matter what scale you're at. The onions over here are doing all right. There's a couple that died that I'll put some replacements in for. So planting extra, or for me, like I purchased the onions this year. I purchased plants starts, not sets. So not the bulbs. The bulbs will not actually store very well. So highly recommend ordering seeded starts, like so actual plants. You can get them at like Johnny Seeds. So ordering extras, or if you start from seed, having an extra tray that you don't actually plant out, so you can backfill those spaces to really make sure that you're filling every spot is really helpful. One of our garlic on the corner here, I'll show you, got moved a little bit here. This one was supposed to be right about there. Definitely a little smaller being in the ground walk pathway versus in the big no-till bed area here. If you're new to our channel, this is a conversion bed area, which used to be our corn, but due to the bear issues of the last couple years, we have decided not to do any more corn because we are just asking for him to come back. And he just plops in the middle of this whole bed area here. It used to be all corn. and literally you'd see like a butt imprint. It was hilarious. It was sad because he'd eat all our corn, but definitely still funny. And he would just sit and grab all the stalks and eat the corn still attached to the stalks. He'd peel it and just, yeah. Just like a big kid, basically. So we decided no more corn. So this back area, we're planning on doing squash. It is partly shaded though, so I'm a little worried about that, but we're gonna see how it goes. So we got a big magnet. We ordered online. I tried to get it at Home Depot the other day actually, and they didn't have it in stock. We got the largest one we can get with big wheels, because I found a bunch of rusty old nails in this back bed, as well as had to pick out a bunch of rocks, which is the crate there. We are going to then put the black fabric down across this whole bed area and then cut out holes and add compost into the hills for squash plants. So that is on the list for this weekend if I can get to it. And we'll see. It will depend on how this tunnel project really goes. So that's it for fertilizing right as the sun's really starting to come up. So I gotta go shower and get all those wonderful smells off of me and start my day for work. And I will try to get some updates throughout the day on how the tunnel's going. We are going to make one big Rimmel greenhouse video at the end of this project for how we installed and the hurdles that we're hitting. So be on the lookout for that. But have a wonderful Friday and good morning, and I will probably have multiple updates this weekend, so stay tuned.